Da-da-da. It's so much fun to have you on the podcast. I know it's not your first ever,
Yeah.
but it kind of is because you're in the studio.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's roll with that.
So, Catherine, you got to tell me, what's your little thing?
My little thing is my morning matcha. It's my non-negotiable. I always do it every morning. It's just so soothing. I don't know if you make matcha yourself or you're more of a coffee drinker.
I'm a coffee girl for sure, but I've been told by a lot of people that I'm really missing out. So I want to hear about how does your morning matcha fit into your broader routine? I'm sensing there's a lot more to this.
So I like the matcha making process because it also allows me to get ready for the day. So during that 1 minute whisking session, I'll just quickly plan my day out, do like a mental to-do list. And then once I finalize that list, my matcha making process is done, and I'll take my matcha and go into my study room and start journaling. I've been practicing gratitude lately, which is amazing.
Talk to me about that. So gratitude journaling, new hobby, and
yes,
now it's part of your morning routine.
Yeah, so I've been doing it for 30 days straight recently. Like I always get into gratitude journaling, take a massive long break, and then now I've recently come back into it. But the reason why I do this is because I feel like I'm such a negative person.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here because I can be really negative as well. And there's been a few episodes that have really opened my eyes to how I can be more positive. But also I think it's nice sometimes to just sit in not being negative, but just sit in the fact that it's a work in progress and we're working on things like gratitude journaling to make us to reframe some of those thoughts, I guess.
Yeah, it's reframing and also changing our mind shift to just think a bit more positively. What I've read is that our brain just tends to like to think about the negative things. I think it just generates cortisol. It's just kind of a very addictive type of energy that our body just likes to do.
Yeah.
And so by practicing gratitude or positivity on a daily basis, it's just a nice way to start your day, but to also stop pondering on the negative things and worrying about or being concerned about things that may not happen. I tend to worry a lot, and a lot of things that I worry about never actually come true. So I feel why waste that energy?
Yeah, and you find that with the gratitude journaling, it helps you kind of reset on some of that. I think it's also the fight or flight, isn't it? So we used to have all these anxious thoughts and worries because we were often in situations of danger, physical, as humans. But now we don't have anywhere to put all those kind of threat response thoughts and obviously enter anxiety, our dear friend.
I know, it's my best friend that I'm trying to shake off.
I know, get rid of it, just hanging on. But
yeah, I mean, there are pros to anxiety. It does make me get things done, but I feel sometimes it doesn't work in a healthy way for me. And I think just trying to find that balance of using anxiety in a positive way as well is something that I'm also trying to figure out. For example, let's say, yesterday I launched my fashion label with my best friend of more than 20 years, May Market. And I was really anxious about launching, and I was going to just bring these concerns to my business partner, and I thought, I was going to be what if, this happens, or what if that happens? And I just kind of sat with myself for a few seconds. I thought, why ruin the celebration? Let's deal with, this anxiety when it does happen. Let's not let anxiety take over this amazing moment right now. So I decided to just leave my concerns, my anxieties, push it aside, and the things that I was worried about didn't really happen.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Obviously manifesting is such a buzzword, but I think having tried it more, I do feel putting yourself in positions where you're thinking more positively about what you're doing and what's to come does change your future.
I feel we, as human beings, we tend to preempt, the worst case scenarios.
Yes.
My advice right now to myself is we only live one life. Life is too short. Stop worrying about these little things and just live it.
Yeah.
Just be grateful for the life that we live. I feel right now we're super lucky to be just right here at a podcast, eating popcorn and stuff.
Yeah, so true. You had obviously your content creation and your page and everything that you've been doing for the past 5 years?
4 years.
4 years.
I know. Or maybe 5 almost. In October will be my 5th year, so it is coming up.
Wow.
You're right. Yeah, it's almost 5 years.
I was like, excuse me, I feel I've done my research. But so the past 5 years, you've been running your page, and then you've also had your whole other full-time job in architecture. How did you go from those things coexisting to giving that up and then really focusing on your own stuff? Like, I know you had a big journey with corporate burnout.
Where do I start? I feel like I've had such a long career journey to kind of figuring out, like, I even feel like I'm still figuring out right now. Like, I don't know if this is the career yet.
I think it's really cool to just be like, this is where I'm at right now. And I don't think anyone fully feels that they've ever arrived somewhere in their career or in their life. Like, we're constantly evolving. And I really like having that perspective. How did you know when you were sitting at your desk in the architecture firm that you were working at, how did you come to the place where it was like, I'm going to need to leave here now? Like, what led you to that decision?
So that day where I saw my doctor to be like, I need to go on sick leave, that day I just noticed these physical symptoms that I was getting, shortness of breath, but also just, how can I describe it? It's like, kind of like little butterflies. Yeah. But all, not in your stomach, but like all over your body. And having this sense of fear of just going into the office, and also like being on the brink of tears as well. And I've experienced burnout probably 2 times before my 3rd one. And I just knew that it was coming on, that I was going to have a breakdown at work. So this time I knew what I needed to do. So my doctor, I never take sick leave. But that time I was like, I've banked up so much sick leave that I can afford to take 2 weeks straight. And so my doctor was like, yes, like anything you need, I'll give you the medical certificate that you need. But during those 2 weeks, I need you to figure out like what you're going to do. But I really recommend that you take a break from your corporate job. Yeah. Yeah.
What I wanted to ask you was something that your mum said to you around listening like to your body, and the fact that you were coming into this moment and needing to rest and recover.
Yeah.
What did she say?
Mum knows best. She knows me so well, way more than I know myself. But she knew that I was becoming really exhausted, like dealing with burnout again. And she just told me, Catherine, like, you need to rest. You need to like stop everything and just chill out and not overwork yourself, because I think she knows that I do have high expectations. She really knows I have anxiety and I stress a lot, and she just wants what's best for me. And that advice was just so heartwarming, and like, kind of makes me choke right now. But I think a lot of people don't make that time to just really like heal and recover, because our body does need that. And sometimes, like even through like yoga or a cold plunge or, journaling, I feel like sometimes it's not enough. Before that burnout, my partner and I just moved to Europe for a year. And so I tend to do all these like drastic things. I don't know why. Maybe I just love a big change, but it's nice to just reset with something so extravagant.
It's nice to be dramatic.
It is.
I feel like it's like, oh, let's move across the country. So dramatic, but
I'm
so
a little bit of a drama queen.
Love. Well, when you're done, you're done. And I think that's kind of nice. And then now we'll see what's next.
Yeah.
I've done that too. And it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to... And again, it was by necessity, probably not by choice. Yeah. Just in terms of like my own mental health. Yeah. It's really hard to admit that you need to do that to other people at times, but equally to get to that point is tough. Yeah. How, like, where did that start? How did you start to feel burnt out? Like, what was the culture like there?
I was in a client-side project manager first, so it was a bit more stressful because I was dealing with clients that were in like the luxury space. So they were of a very like prestigious kind of like clients that we were dealing with. And so it was just like a very high pressure environment. So we were constantly told that like we needed to, you know, respond to emails within, you know, 24 hours. But if we didn't have the answer, we could just let them know, just say, hey, I'm just going to come back to you by the end of the week. So, so there was some leniency in that sense. But like being a person with high expectations and not wanting to let people down, I had just I would just put a lot of pressure on myself to just like fulfill my role, but in a very like efficient way. So I would constantly push myself like, okay, like even though like I can respond to this email by the end of the week because I've told the client that I will, but just in the back of my mind I was just like, I just need to respond to this email like within the next 3 hours. Like I'm gonna like call everybody and just like figure this out. And so I was constantly just like running and just like never taking the time to, you know, take a breath and just sit with myself and like plan. I just felt like I was always just like on the go.
Do you think there's stuff you could have done differently to avoid
for
ending
sure,
up in that place
for
of
sure.
burnout? And what would
For
you do
sure.
differently?
I feel like I've like come to peace with myself and acknowledging that I just hold myself to this pedestal where like I don't need to put myself on there. I think it's also coming back to like my cultural roots and like coming from a family that immigrated here and, you know, watching my parents work so hard to give me the life that I have right now. I'm so grateful and so privileged that I'm able to pursue like content creation and run my own business full time. But yeah, I just like if I were to come back to corporate, I would definitely have a different mind shift. I would find a role or a company that allowed me to have better work-life balance. I would think I would work at a bigger corporate place where I could just kind of like do my work and like hide into the background. Because I've worked in a lot of like small to medium places, and what I find is that when the business is like growing, you're kind of like there with them on that journey, and so they kind of put some type of pressure for you to help grow the business. I don't know if you've been in that situation before, but when I started my last job, there was only 4 people, and it grew to like 30 in the last 4 years. So firstly, find a place where more people and I can just, you know, kind of sail through. Yeah,
there's a lot to be said for doing your job. Like, I think there's times in your life where you want to stretch yourself and maybe be more ambitious and quote unquote like achieve more creatively, whatever it might be in your work. And there's sometimes that probably like you just want to show up and do your job. And I think that's also super valid and super important. Like when I've had jobs where I felt that, and it's been rare, like I've been really fortunate in the sense that I've always found myself in jobs that I think are really creatively fulfilling, but also that takes a lot from you.
It does.
But there's been one time maybe that I can think of more recently, not here, where the job didn't really suit me and it wasn't quite right for me, and it was quite easy for me to achieve the things that I needed to in that job. And then I was kind of like, who am I if I'm not achieving all this additional stuff that I like?
Yes.
And
so you tie your identity to
very badly.
Like your self-worth at your workplace.
Yeah.
And that's the second thing that I was going to say was that like I needed to not have my job define who I was.
Yeah. Where are you at with that? Because I need help with that too.
Oh, I feel like I have such a huge like ego and hubris that I'm still tying myself to my job. Like with content creation and with like being co-founder of a business. I feel like a sense of like I've achieved great things now that I'm doing my own thing, and I guess it's coming through like a different way because now I'm like running my own business, and so I'm getting that satisfaction through that.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can like fully separate our identity from what we do, especially as creatives. But I think there's downsides to that for sure.
Yeah, because I feel like ourselves are reflected through our creative work.
Yeah. I would say as well that I'm more in a position now than ever where I'm not fully sure who I am. Whoa. But I think that I know it's super crazy, but like I think when you work really hard as well, and maybe this is part of like what happened to you, but I think in working so hard, in doing so many different things, in putting all your energy into your creative projects, whatever it might be, you're kind of like, what are the things, it's part of the reason why I wanted to do this podcast, is what are the little things that connect me to me?
Yeah.
And I don't really have the answer to that.
Well, it's constantly evolving, like as you keep growing, keep learning,
that's what
keep talking to other people.
That's what I think is hard. I feel like I had a better sense of myself maybe a few years ago, but then I've evolved again since, and then I haven't really caught up to like, and so that's really strange. And that's what I really like about kind of what you're doing, is like you're taking more time to figure out what parts, like what things you want to focus on, what time do you want to get up, what time, how do you want to go about this? And that's like a very pragmatic and interesting way to look at.
Well, I feel like
life.
everyone is still figuring out what they want to do, and I don't think we'll ever I mean,
we're never going to arrive. The arrival fallacy, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Me a few years ago would be like, wow, when I get to the place where I'm editor-in-chief of Junkie Media, I'll feel really fulfilled and finished by that, and I'll be the most whole version of myself in that role. And then when you get there, yes, all those things are true, and I'm really proud of like the work that we do and the team that we have and how I'm able to elevate those people. But it's not that I'm now happy with myself. It's like, if you're not happy with yourself, then you're still going to be working on that to be happy with yourself now. And I think like people who've struggled with mental health stuff, like it sounds like you have, and obviously I have as well. That's something you have to keep thinking about it, and you're never fully going to be like, I'm the fully formed 100% perfect version of myself and I'm going to stay this way forever.
Oh, I can totally like relate to that.
Yeah.
But I also find like what I'm also trying to find is, can I achieve happiness through other things outside of like my job? Can it be through crocheting, through sewing, through just taking a walk with my friends on a Sunday afternoon? And that's something that I've now like incorporated again, and taking time out of my days to just allocate 2 hours to do something that's just like removed from work.
Yeah.
And I don't have the answer yet, because I'm also still figuring that out. And I'm really hoping that I do find happiness in both. But obviously with like content creation and that, like it's something that I'm so passionate about, but I still feel like I still need to have that separation between work and my social life, or my life when I can just focus on self-care, recovering and healing and resetting. Like I can't just go back to like editing a video and say that's like my form of like self-care, if you know what I mean, because it's also a creative pursuit.
Yeah. I think also it's like the stress of trying to document the little things that you're doing, maybe.
I know, it's such a fine line, like such like a blurry line.
Yeah. Okay, well, we both have work to do.
I know. Maybe we should do this journey together.
Yeah. The Little Things blog series. Yeah. No, legit. With your morning routine, is that like a new thing that you've gotten into? Or is that, so talk me through like how come, because I have the best of intentions with my morning routine, and I do it probably like 2 days out of 7. I would say
that's
like
a good start.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's good. Like, let's see the positive.
Progress over perfection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Validating.
Yes.
But why did you set it up, and like how do you go about making sure it works for you and like tweaking it?
So it was a lot of like trial and error to see like what actually works for me, because I'm not a morning person. I don't like waking up early to go to the gym early. I actually prefer doing an afternoon gym session because I don't know why. I just feel like when I work out, I get really exhausted and I just need to go to bed afterwards.
I have such mixed feelings on this, but like the whole idea that you must be a morning person in order to be productive or to show up for yourself in a self-care capacity. Like, it's so nice to have someone on who's like, I'm not a morning person.
No, I'm not.
And I don't know if we should fight it anymore.
No, like I don't believe in that like 4 a.m. like 4
5
a.m.
to
like
9
CEO,
before your 9 to 5.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that too.
CEO routine.
Yeah, terrible. What is it? I think it's 4:25
4:25
a.m.
What?
Some people
That's
are
so
waking up at.
specific.
I know. I think it's
What's the science behind
I think
that?
it's Bob Iger.
Yeah.
I watched his masterclass, like the CEO of Disney, and he was like, "I wake up at 4:25 and I go work out," and I was like, "This is highly stressful. I'll do it." No, I'm kidding.
Did
I've
you
never.
try?
No. I
Yeah.
watch it voyeuristically, and then I like promptly I write it down, and then I promptly move on with my life. And
Yeah,
I'm just like, I'm not doing that.
It's nice
Life's
to
too
do, but I just can't get up that early.
I can't be waking up in the dark.
No.
Like if it's dark outside, I'm not interested.
No, it doesn't work with our circadian rhythm. Like we
No.
do need the sunrise to wake us up naturally.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So this is like once again you're validating me.
Yes, I
love-
feel like we're on the same
We're on the
wavelength,
we're on the
thank
same
God.
page. I know.
So I've been through that hustle culture because when I was working in corporate, I was also doing content creation on the side, and I was working pretty much like 7 days a week. It was a lot, and that's why I had like such a massive burnout earlier this year. But just I don't want another burnout again. Like I want to prevent that. So now I am coming with a different mindset of just like slowing down, doing things mindfully and with intention. So just like practicing these and incorporating these I don't know, like little hacks to not always have to just be like switched on.
Have your own boundaries and
Yes, having boundaries.
That's the thing. Like I think people will set the agenda for you if you don't actively kind of set it. Do you know what I mean? Like if you don't set your own boundaries, people will obviously just not know and do whatever they think is right, and then it quickly becomes like an expectation.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to practice like not having work consume me all the time. So I just go, hey, let's just put this in the back of my head for now. An amazing trick that my psychologist taught me is that because I used to have like insomnia, have like trouble sleeping, and she would just say, put these thoughts that are worrying you into a box and just tie that around an anchor or something and just drop that into the ocean. Just let it sink deeply down.
Oh, I feel like you could be a meditation.
Yeah.
You should
Oh,
start your
really?
own. That was like
Okay.
working for me.
Maybe
Sorry, keep
that's my
going.
next thing.
Yeah.
But let that box sink.
Everyone close their eyes.
Yeah, close your eyes, let that box sink, and I would find that would let me drift off to sleep. And then in the morning, I would drag that anchor back up into my boat and just open the box and just deal with that the next day. So just like removing myself from these things and just allowing myself to have the space and just think about it the next day or the next hour.
You don't have to resolve things
No.
immediately or address every single concern, worry, anxiety, task, job immediately.
Yeah, PDFs
That's
are
pretty
saving
free.
lives. You can just, send that tomorrow morning.
Yeah. It's all going to be okay. You and I
The
are,
world
in
is going to
fact,
be okay. I
not
realize with
saving
the job that I'm
lives.
doing that, like, I'm not saving
Yeah.
lives at all. Yeah.
What about saying no to things? Like you said that you're trying to say no to more things and be
Yeah.
more intentional with like how you spend your time. Talk to me about like getting to that place and how do you say no to stuff?
Oh, it's so hard to say no. I'm such a people pleaser that, and also growing up as an only child, like I would say that I didn't have a lot of I didn't have siblings to hang out with, so I would constantly say yes to like hanging out with friends. And so I still like continue to say yes whenever my friends go, hey, do you want to hang out? Because I feel like, if I don't hang out with them, then they're not going to continue to like ask me to hang out. I don't know if you ever get that sense of like FOMO. But essentially like I'm working on just giving myself more time to just be able to just like have that downtime and not having to always just like hang out with my friends. And so I am starting to say no to going out or to doing something that I probably don't really want to do. I'm not a huge partier. I don't actually like to go out late, and I don't really drink as well. Like I'm okay with like a Friday night dinner somewhere, but I kind of want to go home at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone struggles with like saying no.
Yeah, it's super hard to say no, but I'm with you. I want to do like mindful activities. I don't want to at this point and at this stage, and like, you know, it'll probably change again.
Yeah.
But I'm super happy in like, yeah, early bedtimes right now. Maybe like going to movies with friends or something like that, a little
Yeah.
bit more wholesome.
Yeah,
Like,
I like how you mentioned like mindful activities. Like I do want to be able to go and do ceramics with my friends or like work on a puzzle, do something like creative with my hands. Like, I don't know, like how do you ask your friends if,
how do you
if
have a
wanna
friend date? I think this is
like-
becoming more and more of a thing though. It's
Yeah.
like, let's go crafting. Let's do
Yeah.
a 2-person book club. And sometimes it can literally be as simple as trotting off to the dendy and going to see a movie. Like all these things are starting to be more part of the conversation and more normalized. So I think just ask.
I know, I should ask.
Yeah, and be like, oh, can we do this instead? Like, I really want to try this. And I'm sure your friends will want to do that too. And if not,
yeah.
we'll do it.
Okay, we can go out together, Alice.
Okay, great.
I like that.
Okay,
set.
great.
Yeah, that's great.
Are we doing book club first or are we doing crafting? I don't think we'll be doing sewing just because
Because
it'll end up feeling, well, I can't do it.
I can teach you. It's
I know,
actually
but then that gets
quite
into
basic.
workspace for you. And I feel
That's
you
okay.
think that it will be basic, but we'll be there for hours and you'll be like, I regret everything.
What do I want to do? I really want to do like rug tufting.
What's that?
It's it's like you have this like blank canvas that's like kind of stretched, and then you have this like powerful like, I think it's like a machine gun.
Oh my God, what?
But it's like a sewing machine that you
Catherine.
hold.
Catherine,
And then it
this is
starts threading.
this
Have
is-
you not seen it?
No.
Okay, I'll
this
link
is
you.
sounding quite like
I'll link you
intense.
the activity after this.
Why don't we start with like coloring books?
Okay, colouring books
Or you
is
know the thing
fine.
you did when like you went to like after school care. I don't know if you ever went to after school.
Yeah, I
care,
did.
Where you put
all
the
the time.
beads in the little thing and then you
Yeah.
iron over the beads. Lovely. We could start simple.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
It reminds me of, was it like beadits?
I don't know what they were called, but like you know that thing.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that.
Okay, we start there and then we can like maybe do a little bit of like crocheting and then we can eventually get up to like your
Like
machine
rug tufting.
gun, whatever
Yeah,
that was.
sounds so
That's-
great.
Yeah. So when we had a call in preparation for this podcast, you were telling me that at the moment you're living with some uncertainty because you've just started your new business. It's still a work in progress. This is the first time you've been out of like a corporate job for a while. How do you live with that uncertainty and like what is that feeling like?
Yeah, it honestly feels like I am swimming in a deep end in the pool and I have no idea when I'm going to get out or if I'm actually going to be able to float. But I feel like that does excite me, and it's great to finally be able to live a life that I want to pursue. But it is very scary. Like there are so many things at the back of my mind where I'm like, you know, is this going to give me a financial stability? Like, is this business going to, well, these businesses, are they going to be able to pay my mortgage? And like, I've told my business partner, especially with May, like, you know, if this doesn't work out, like I do have plan B, like I'll just go back to work next year. And she's like, why are you thinking like so short term? Like we just need to give it our all and just like work really hard to be able to make this something that we can just sustain off. And so leaning back to like practicing gratitude and just like thinking these positive thoughts and just going, hey, like let's not worry about the future, like let's really like ride the wave, enjoy this moment, and go from there. But yeah, there's this like scary thought at the back of my mind, like tomorrow, like I might have to like move out of my home or something like that. That does scare me a lot.
It's a big responsibility. But I think there is some power. Like I hear what your business partner saying, like be positive, manifest, all that stuff. But there is power in a plan B and like just having a backup. And then like what you were saying before with the anchor analogy where it's like you don't have to have all the solves right now, but you can kind of like plan ahead or kind of try and see a way through, I guess.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, and maybe this is a bit of a rogue step, but you know, one time that I can remember really living with uncertainty was with an ex-boyfriend who I didn't know if I should break up with or not. And so what I did was kind of similar to what you're saying with your business, although I'm sure your business will be much more successful than my failed relationship from
I really
10
do
years
hope
ago.
so.
Oh my gosh. But I like kept a journal because I was uncertain of whether it was going to work out. And if you have to keep a journal to like see if your relationship and document it and see if it's going to work out, like it won't work out, like spoiler, you should just end it there. And I would kind of like, I said to myself, I'll give it 6 months and I'll see like if the behavior that I'm looking for changes or doesn't change. And then therefore I don't have to make a decision right this second. I can kind of like just note things down, like see how I feel and then check back in 6 months and be like, okay, how do I feel about this now? And I guess that's kind of how you're approaching your life at the moment.
Yeah, I'm subconsciously doing that. But I like that. Like I'm going to actually like use that in my journal, like give myself by a certain date and look at where the business is at, where my personal brand is at as well, and kind of make that ultimatum like, look, this isn't working out. And it's okay that I wouldn't say that I failed. I would just say, you know, it's not working out how I intended to be, and that I'm just going to go back to work and find a place where, you know, it's probably better aligned to what I want moving forward.
Love the idea of reframing like quote unquote failure and what is failure, because we're also scared of like failing. But what is
and I feel
failure?
like a lot of people don't want to start things because they're scared of failing. It's like, well, if you haven't tried, how do you know that you're going to fail?
Yeah.
And even if you do fail, at least you tried, and there's a lot of experience that comes out of it and a lot of skills you probably, you know, picked up. I was invited to speak at UNSW yesterday for the Fashion and Beauty Society. And I just told them like, you know, all my experiences. So when I was, my first job, well, I think I started at 15, I worked at Kmart in retail, and I worked there for a really long time, for 5 years. But I picked up a lot of really great communication skills, but a lot of like customer service skills. And I feel like that really resonated and continued with me as I went into architecture. So dealing with your colleagues, a lot of people really liked me because I felt like I feel like I really have like a bubbly personality, but I picked that up from my retail job at Kmart. And with architecture, I learned how to be super creative, how to think, or mostly just like how to deal with a creative block, or how to feel inspired, or how to create something from, you know, a square. And with project management, the skill that I picked up was structure, or stakeholder management, and all these skills and experiences that I've built over, over I'm so bad at maths. Oh my gosh, people on the podcast, Spotify are going to be watching me calculate this.
I didn't know if mine was a fruit or not on this podcast. So
but like 14 years, the 14 years of experience that I've gained has all been transferable into Project Catherine and May Market. And I don't think people should like discount these, or when people go, oh, like I'm working in this industry, but I really want to make that career change, but I actually don't have the skills. But you do, you really do. And people shouldn't discount that. Like everything that you've learned so far can be easily transferred. Like you don't need to go back to uni. Like with fashion, like I didn't go back to uni to study fashion. I just, took all the knowledge that I've accumulated and just like transferred it to my business.
Yeah, I think your gratitude journal's working.
Yeah,
is what I really think.
Because I'm such a more of a like positive person now.
Yeah. Okay. I do need to get on it because I think it would be really helpful. But yeah, and we were saying this a little before, but when I've had a job that was less meaningful to me, I also had way more time to like read and to learn about how I like reporting and like the kinds of stories I would want to tell in this job. So every kind of like everything has a bit of a silver lining and is part of the journey. What about, because obviously a key part of like what you've covered is with Project Catherine is slow fashion and sustainability and finding your own style while still kind of like aligning with your values around not just purchasing loads of random stuff that you're not going to wear in a season's time. How do you keep evolving your fashion while still like aligning with your values?
Yeah, it took me years to really like hone into my personal style. It's a lot of just like, you know, some really bad outfits and some really amazing outfits that people will come up to you and go, where did you get that? And I would say that like finding your personal style will help you mindfully consume clothing, because I find that a lot of people will just shop the latest trends because they're like, oh my gosh, this outfit or this clothing piece looks really cool. It might look really great on me. But then when they buy it and it arrives and they put it on, they're like, oh, actually it doesn't look that great on me. And so just honing into your personal style is a great way to start being able to mindfully consume clothing, because once you figure that out, you just know exactly what clothes look right on you or what style that you really like.
Where do you sit with the whole death of individual style argument? So like I've seen a fair bit online just around, now we're so trend based and obviously there's so much content out there for people to consume, but the same kinds of fashion content keeps getting served to audiences. And so if we're all going by our own Pinterest board, we will all end up, in terms of what style we like, we kind of end up morphing into one kind of like mode of what looks cool and have less references to like other styles throughout the years. Do you think that's like, do you think we still have individual style?
I mean, it's still good to draw on from trends because it does help you like build your personal style. You can use it as a foundation, but I feel like you should also like experiment like with other things that you may have not tried before or that you actually like but may not be trendy. So for example, like I really like wearing gingham. I feel like it's still a trend right now. I'm not too sure, but I have found through wearing gingham that I actually really enjoy wearing it, and I'm going to continue wearing that for many more years. And I'm really happy that this trend showed up because I don't think I would have ever fell in love with gingham. And so yeah.
And hang on, is this gingham?
Yeah, that is.
Okay,
or
cute.
like check it.
Oh
I
my
hope
god.
so.
Love. Okay, great. We're aligned because you're wearing gingham.
Kind of, yeah.
Is
it's
it?
like a checkered, I would say. I mean, there's also like checkered, like Scottish checkered print and stuff. You can go into this whole like deep dive of like different types of like squares and how it's all done. Yeah.
So, but your advice is use the trends to find
your foundation.
Yeah.
And then you can like build and experiment on other things that you like.
And then do you struggle or do you feel stressed in trying to create content where you feel it is individual enough in your style, or you're just in your lane and you're like...
I feel like I'm constantly being pressured to create content that is trending. So hopefully I really do hope that like my audience will continue to grow over Project Catherine. And I find that with Instagram that the algorithm is not really on my side all the time. So I sometimes do fall into like doom scrolling and just seeing what other people are creating or what other people are wearing. And what I've done now is that like I will just like post something, do a few things, respond to messages, and then I will just leave the app. Yeah. And I'm just trying to focus on just creating the content that I want to do that feels authentic to me. I love to storytell, share advice, as well as like show off my outfits that I just truly just love wearing. Because a lot of my pieces are thrifted or they're rented or borrowed or they're just like passed down from my mom, and I just want to be really creative and just have fun with the outfits and just put together like a really cool fit.
Yeah, I like the idea of like what do they say, post then ghost. You're kind of just like, okay, I'm not going to wait.
I am such a post and ghost. Yeah. And like sometimes people will be like, hello, have you seen my message? I'm like, if you want to find me, just like text me, because that's when it's urgent. And it's like circling back to what we talked about is having a boundary. And so I try to not to get consumed by brands like brands advertising, you know, the latest trends, or influencers even promoting, you know, the latest trends. Like right now it's polka dots and stripes. I do have like one piece that's striped and one piece that is polka dot, but that's probably where I draw the line. Like I'm not going to purchase more. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're super intentional with what you add to your wardrobe and making sure it fits for you.
But it is so hard to like avoid it. Like I do fall for it a lot of time, and it's hard. Like being a content creator, you're like constantly just being bombarded by the latest trends and the latest styles. It's so hard to remove yourself. But sometimes you just gotta just accept that, like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna not participate, and it's fine. It's okay to do that, not to participate.
Yeah, and to think about what suits you and saying no to stuff. You told me on the phone that you got a really good piece of advice when you were quitting your corporate job.
Yeah.
That you're thinking about a lot now. And the advice was focus on one thing and go through with it.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
Because I feel like, I don't know if you relate, but a lot of people tend to multitask a lot of things because we feel like multitasking equals productivity. But sometimes we just end up not finishing a lot of things, or we get distracted by another thing, and we're not able to commit to that one thing. And so when I called him after I quit, because I was finally in this place to be able to give him a call without bursting into tears. But I was just like, yeah, like, I've decided to just like follow my path. And he was like, yeah, like Catherine, like you really need to just focus on one thing and commit to that one thing and follow through, because I could tell that your anxiety, like this was the root cause. Like you just didn't know what you wanted to do, or you were like taking on too much, like you were running with too many things. I feel like you can do even greater things if you just focused on that.
I really resonate with being distracted. I'm like constantly distracted by like emails, different notifications, all of that. I do like the idea of being like, okay, now I'm going to go into focus mode, do this one thing super well. And I like the idea, and that's like from a work sense, but I love the idea of doing that in my personal life as well, and having no distractions for some of the rituals that you've like encouraged me to go and do. I don't know if I'm at matcha levels, like I'm ready to go down that rabbit hole in terms of like that level of a routine, but maybe.
But that's okay. I feel like you probably just need to find that like one thing that you must always do every morning.
And just do that.
And just do that.
Yeah.
You can start with the little things, just one step at a time. So for you, it could just be like making a coffee. For me, my non-negotiable is making matcha.
With no distractions.
No distractions,
focus, quiet time.
Give time for yourself to just plan your day ahead, and that's, through matcha or through making coffee.
Yes, okay, good. Okay, so flat white or matcha, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Love. Okay, cool. Catherine, thank you so much for coming in and chatting to me for little things. It's been so fun to have you.
It was so fun. Thanks so much for having me on here, Alice.
We're talking a lot about all the activities. We're like, we'll do 20 activities.
I know. Let's do them all.
This episode of Little Things was executive produced by Alice Griffin, that's me, and Jana Anderson, and produced by Natasha Lau. Thanks to Dendy Cinemas for making this episode of Little Things possible. The Dendy Cinema program of 35mm screenings brings cinema back to its roots, screening iconic films from their original celluloid prints. Whether you're a cinephile or a newcomer, Cells Out is your chance to discover cinema as it was meant to be experienced. Grainy, tactile, alive. Tickets are on sale at Dendy Cinemas.